So welcome to Kickstarter Rockstar, where you can learn how to fund your passion and dreams with Kickstarter. And my name is Brian Kwong. I'm the host. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 7th interview we're done. And today we got a really awesome guest. His name is Andy Davis. And Andy's a singer-songwriter. And he raised $41,347 on Kickstarter to make his album. And his project was like a year ago, right? You completed a year ago.
Yep.
And it's still currently the #2 most funded project in the music indie rock category. And today he's going to share with us how he did it, and he's going to also perform a song for us after the interview. So welcome and thank you so much for being with us, Andy.
Thanks. Yeah, man, I'm excited.
Cool.
I'm glad to be on here. I'm glad to be acknowledged for raising the money. Although I have to give credit to my fans and people that gave all the money, because they definitely, it was their money. So.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you tell us a little bit of background, like short background view?
Yeah. I am I guess originally from Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, but I've lived in Nashville, Tennessee for a while.
Okay.
And I've been playing music and touring for the past probably 6 or 7 years, I guess, full time. And just kind of I've been out sort of under the radar, building a fan base and trying to keep things going, and you know, mainly around the U.S. and building a following, you know. So it's been a slow-growing kind of secret army of fans and friends that have helped me support my music, and I think this Kickstarter campaign was a way that sort of something that kind of like, I don't know, allow people to sort of stand up and say, hey, we like this music even though it's not maybe on the radio or it's not like something that you're always hit in the face with through regular marketing channels. So yeah, it was a really, you know, it was a really fun process, and it was actually a pretty ambitious, even for myself, goal. Like the original goal for my Kickstarter campaign was $30,000 in 30 days, and so it had a nice ring to it, and it was a little bit, it felt like it was, I don't know, something that was going to have to take a lot of, like, I don't know, work to get there. It wasn't just like a passive kind of, it just felt like a lot of money. I mean, it's a lot of money, you know, so.
Yeah.
And I think that people got into it and wanted to help and, you know, telling their friends about it, and I think it was a very steady climb. Like, it was basically, you know, about $1,000 a day for a little while, and then it would kind of ramp off for a little while. And then as it got to the end, like the last few days, and we were still about $2,000 short, and I think I have a lot of procrastinating fans, I guess, and they decided to give money at the last minute. And so yeah, and then it was you know, in the last 48 hours, people came through, and the number shot from like 28,000 all the way up to like 41,000.
Wow.
And change
That's
before
insane.
it was over. So yeah.
It's a lot of procrastinations going on there.
I know, apparently so.
That's some serious procrastination there. But okay, that's what happened basically, right? You gave a summary of your Kickstarter, what happened with your Kickstarter project. So let's talk a little bit about how you did it, because you know, I think a lot of people. I mean, this interview is really for entrepreneurs and also singers and songwriters, and how they can do that too, because I want other people to be able to do that also.
Right.
So let's. So you mentioned that you've been on the road and touring, slowly building your fan base for 6-7 years, or 6 years. I mean, I guess 5 years before you started your Kickstarter, right? And why don't you tell us a little bit about that? Because I think that's like the most important part of building a fan base, right? Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, Nashville is a place where there are a lot of independent musicians, independent singer-songwriters who are traveling and touring and making a living doing music, even though they may not be on a record label or be on the radio or be, you know, whatever. And so I think, and honestly, there's a lot of people that really band together. Nashville is a pretty good town when it comes up to camaraderie, you know. And so a lot of times we'll go out and do tours together, and just to help each other kind of combine our fan bases and spread the word. And then, you know, I got some opportunities when I was first starting out to open up for some guys that had an established fan base, and so I was going out to open for people when there was, you know, 200 or 300 people packed in a room that were all really excited to hear music. So it was a really great way to start building a fan base by kind of stealing fans from someone else, I guess, or sharing or accepting the gifts of their fans, and and then it takes a lot of work to maintain that kind of connection with those people, and like emailing them, sending out emails, and your email list will grow from a couple hundred to a few thousand to 10,000 or whatever, and so then you're trying to just keep people informed about what you're doing and make it fun, make them feel, just sort of share in the excitement of everything, So yeah, I mean, I think a lot of and I hadn't put out a record for a little while after that. The record that I recorded with the Kickstarter budget was technically my fifth project, album project. I've released. It was my third full length, and I also had 2 EPs before that. So my music had been sort of, I guess people had known my music and started to pass my music around. And I'd done these projects before, but I'd never really had a project where I had a full proper budget to do it with, So that was kind of what this was about, and I think it just felt like the right time to try to open up to do the fan involved experience, So yeah, I think that you can't. I mean, I have some friends that have done projects that are, maybe $5,000 or $10,000 and have been successful at it, but it's one of those things where you have to kind of gauge what you think you can raise, and then maybe just be ambitious and ask for a little more,
Let's see. So that's really great what you share. So how you started out. Let me just get back to see if I got what you're saying. Okay. How you first started out was basically helping each other out with other independent artists. So you open for them, they open for you, and you guys work together. And then how do you build a email base? Did you have a website? How did you collect emails?
The main 2 ways would be at concerts, asking people to sign up on just pushing it. And sometimes we would do these campaigns where we would say, hey, if you sign up, if I didn't have a new album at the time and I wanted to help build my fan base, I may say something like, hey, I'm going to give away a free MP3 to anyone who will go sign up on my email list tonight.
Yeah.
Or I'll do, and then there's obviously on my website, andydavisonline.com, you can type in your email and it'll be on there, But you just figure out there's other ways. We did a campaign one time where on my last EP, the 5-song EP that I did, there was for a limited period, if you gave your email address or if you gave the address of 2 friends, then you got to download 5 songs for free for 2 weeks or something like that. So little campaigns like that to help build the email list. And email list is a great way to get in touch with people, but just because you have 10,000 people on your email list doesn't mean that there are actually 10,000 people that are reading it right then. You have to sort of know that there's only a percentage that are actually going to open it and go through the clicking and all that stuff,
Okay. So great. So you have do you know about approximate how big was your email list before you and how big was your fan base before you actually launch your Kickstarter project? Do you know?
It's a hard thing to calculate, I guess, and real accurately. I believe there are millions out there, right?
Yeah.
I think my Twitter following at the time was probably about 6,000 or 7,000 followers, maybe.
Yeah.
And I don't really know if MySpace counts anymore. I don't know what that really even is, but Facebook, I probably had 5,000 or so friends on my fan page, likes or whatever, and my email list was probably about close to 8,000-9,000 people.
Okay, got it.
Something like that, And I guess technically I've sold about, I guess officially probably, or cumulatively with my different projects, probably about 35 to 40,000 albums, I guess, across those albums. But obviously with the way that people share music today, there's probably twice as many or more out there because of just the way it works,
Yeah.
So I don't know. I would say maybe It's hard to say. Like, I would estimate 75,000 people out there know my music,
Okay.
and that translates into 45, or something. I don't know, but it's hard. It's a little bit hard to calculate when when there's so much sharing and when there's just
Yeah, no problem. I understand. So okay, so why don't we talk about a little bit about when you're creating your video, because your video is really fun and really awesome, I think.
Thanks. Yeah, I had a fun time making it. I worked with this girl named Becky Fluke, who is a director in Nashville, and she's a really talented editor and director. And we actually had about 4 or 5 different concepts that I was hoping to. Well, I kind of wanted to try, and we sort of tried it, and then it was like, well, that concept's going to take a lot longer than we realized. And then this concept, and then we actually ended up just making this really off-the-wall video that basically incorporated all the different concepts really in a random way, plus a bunch of real random. I don't know. It's just random was the key word, I think.
It is quite random.
Yeah.
Randomly entertaining.
Yeah, it's sort of just like inside the brain, kind of like, I don't know, like the way things spark or whatever, But anyway, so we had a fun time making that, and it was, we had to do it on basically, she basically did it as a favor to me, and then I paid her afterwards, but it was, because you don't really have you don't want to spend a massive amount of money making a promotional video so that you can go try to raise money, you have to keep it pretty free/creative. Low budget makes you more creative sometimes, I think.
Yes, you have to be creative. And do you have any like do you have any like what was your approach when you're creating the video?
I mean, I guess the thing you have to think about is you want people, you're asking for money, so you you have to sort of not be too. I guess there's different ways you can go about it. You don't want to just come across as completely goofy and not heartfelt. But if your whole video is like sad puppies and stuff, then it's like different. People don't really want to give to that. Well, puppies aren't sad, but you know what I mean. Sad pictures of abandoned dogs or whatever.
Yeah.
And but I think so. You have to. I tried to play it, kind of do both, make them laugh, make them cry, kind of thing. Not really make them cry, but at the very end, I think I was kind of like. I think the whole video is mainly just entertainment sake.
Yeah.
Kind of making a little bit self-deprecating about the fact that you need money, and I think I did the thing with Celine Dion in there, which was like kind of like making fun of the fact that I'm not really, I'm an independent artist who doesn't work with Celine Dion, obviously, and so just a little self-deprecating, and but then at the end, I think people want to hear like an earnest, like, thank you so much for considering this campaign, because it really means a lot to me, and my music depends on people like you actually contributing. So there's got to be some sort of direct, slightly earnest, kind of like meaningful kind of thing, instead of you can't just goof around the whole time and just expect people to give you money, I mean, some people will, but I don't know. I think you just got to show a little bit of what's the word, like some real gratitude or some real, honesty.
Okay, I got it. You got all of that in that video. You make them laugh. You make us cry, laugh, and.
You cried? All right.
No, I didn't. I wanted. No, I didn't. But it was a really, really awesome video. Very entertaining. It's 4 minutes. It's a little long, but it was. It was very engaging the whole time.
Thanks. Yeah, it was probably a little too long, but we got into trying to fit in all those different concepts, and it kind of just took a little longer. Plus, it was like, I wanted to make a video that was long enough to where people could watch it a few times. Cause I knew there was going to be some anticipation when people contributed money, and then they wanted to come back and just sort of see how it's going, and they may want to watch the video again. So you don't want to just do a 30-second video and say like, hey, I hope you guys can give me some money, and then that's it. Like, there's no reason to watch the video again,
Again, I see. So so another thing that you consider is people watching it again. Like, good. Okay, cool.
Yeah, because I think people keep coming back to the site for the updates when you put out updates, and also to see if you're meeting your goal or not. And so I think it's got to be something that's entertaining enough. Also entertaining enough that they'll tell their friends to watch it. Watch the whole thing or whatever. So.
Okay, so as you said, you have a certain amount of email lists, but not everybody's gonna not everybody's looking at your email, and you know that for you, 30,000 in 30 days it sounds like a stretch for you, right? So what was your marketing plan before you hit that launch this project button? Like, what do you think? What do you have any plan that you have before you launch?
Um, Not really. I mean, I think I just knew that. I mean, I had plans to. Sometimes you ask. You have friends that have bigger followings on Twitter than you do, and you're like, hey, if you can you tweet about this? And so I think I had sort of reached out to a few people saying, I'm about to launch this campaign, and if you want to help spread the word about it, here's the link, and it goes live on this day. I think you do put a little bit of preparation. You prep your crowd and say, I'm about to launch it, so that on day one they actually know that it's going to happen and not just hear about it and then take a few days to understand it while the clock is ticking. You kind of get the word out there that you're going to start it like in a couple weeks or something.
Yeah.
I think that people's attention span on the internet is a lot quicker and shorter these days. So if longer than like a month out, it's probably too long to be. I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying. It's not like if you prep it for a year and then raise money, it's not. It's almost like people are going to be tired of hearing about it. It's almost like more of a couple weeks is plenty, I think.
Okay.
But getting people, talking to a few people saying that on this day the campaign will start, and if you can help spread the word, it'd be great. That and some people go out on tour and talk about it from on the road and say, hey, we're raising money right now, and it might be a smart idea if you're already on tour and you want to do a campaign to have like a laptop in the back of your venue so that people can go to the merch table and either buy one of your old CDs or log in right there and do the Kickstarter pledge, But touring costs money too, so it's one of those things. You have to judge how much money to spend in order to market. Another thing that I decided to do was some more videos and more. I did a couple acoustic performances, just even iPhone video of some of the songs that were going to be on the record, so that people knew sort of what they were pledging towards.
Yeah.
Because even if it's like, it's kind of like, here's the song in the raw form, and these are the songs we're going to go record. So if you like this, you can just imagine what your money's going to do to help it turn into a real recording kind of thing.
So you're talking about that, but you're talking about, is that before your launch or during your launch?
During the launch.
That's during your launch. No?
Yeah, during the launch. During the launch, I put a couple of those out, but I had put out a couple of videos of unreleased songs before that too. I'd also been performing a few of the songs live in rotation, kind of in my concerts for, I would say, 6 to 8 months before the thing, just so some people actually knew some of the songs. I've always been a believer that, as a musician, you kind of have to test your songs a little bit on the road to figure out if people are liking them or responding to them before you know that you're really going to put them on the album. I mean, some songs you're going to put them on the album just because they need to be on the album, but you also are thinking, like, what songs can I play live? And so you have to test some stuff out live. And so so I was already testing some of these songs out on the road. And it's always a good sign when people say, when is that song going to be on a CD? I think that's just a question that you have to like wait to hear before you start putting out music sometimes,
That's very smart. That's awesome. That's a lot of prep work.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people that I get a lot of emails from people saying like, hey, how do I get started as an independent musician and things like that. And honestly, usually my answer is somewhat related to like, wait until people are asking you to release music, because if you don't have people like begging you for a CD, then there's no demand really, and you can make CDs for your own enjoyment and everything, and you might actually stumble on something in your own world that there are fans elsewhere that freak out about it because it's something really good, but most of the time people around you or in your town or something are going to be a good reference point for if it's going to catch on or not. And so I think people spend a lot of time working on, like, I got to figure out how to do my website or figure out the social media thing and how to be the most important. I mean, how to make the most, the biggest splash on the internet, you know. But I think truthfully, you got to make sure you have songs that people actually want to hear and music that people actually want to hear, and then it's a lot easier to promote it. So.
Testing the market before you
Yeah.
you launch your stuff and see if there's a demand. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Just like an entrepreneur. I mean, that's like just like starting any business or creating any products. You test the market. You do all these prep work before you launch the thing, so you know you to ensure that that's going to work.
Yeah. When I put out my first CD, I actually, I got an opportunity, like I was saying, to open for some guys that had a following already. And I didn't even have a CD to sell yet when they asked me to open up for them on the road the first couple times. And so I was like, well, I got to do something. And so I literally handmade some CDs and burnt copies on my laptop and hand wrote the titles on the back. And I made it kind of an arts and crafts looking project, so it would be kind of a collectible maybe one day. And people were asking.
Handmade by Andy Davis.
Yeah, handmade, and I initialed and I numbered each one, because people were actually asking for the music, like, when is this going to be on a CD? And I knew that even if I printed up on my computer this little thing, I could sell it, and somebody was going to buy it. And so, but I did want to test it a little bit before I just said, well, this is the track listing and this is the everything, you know.
Yeah.
I ended up hand making about 800 CDs like that.
Wow.
And then before I decided to add 3 more songs and then officially package it and put it out. So that was sort of like a test market period for me.
And you sold that? You were able to sell those CDs, or what happened?
Yeah, I sold like 800 or so of these little handmade and personally initialed CDs with. I used to have friends come over and I would order pizza and we would have like an assembly line, and put the CDs in, and I would sign the thing and I would write, and we would go out. We also had like a spray paint stencil for the cover to make it look really whatever, and so it made people feel like they got something special, and I still have fans that come to shows saying like, I have number 332, or whatever.
That's so cool.
So yeah.
Okay, awesome. So that's just so during your launch. So what happened during your launch? How did you spread the word?
A lot of it was just tweeting random things. I think my sense of humor is again kind of just a random thing. So I would put out some videos that were little things just to kind of keep the word going without being annoying, I guess, because you don't want to send the same message. You kind of want to make it sound fresh every time and people not get annoyed or tired of what you're saying. So try to make it funny, or make jokes about, if I raise this money, I'm going to go straight to Vegas and put it on black and try to double it or something like that. You know what I mean? But which is obviously not something people want to contribute to. But I think it was just a matter of. Also, it's a good thing to keep people aware of what the amount is and how many days there are left. But and as it gets closer towards the end, more and more. But like 10 days into it, you say like, we're 10 days in and this is how much we've raised, and then another like 10-day report kind of thing, and then it's like the final 10 days is the big stretch. Or that's for a 30-day campaign. I do think that if you I think you can make your campaigns longer if you want to, but I've heard a lot of people that have said that a few people told me that they had successful campaigns, and they told me that they reached their goal within the first 10 or 15 days, and then it just kind of the steam turned off, and it was just like, oh, they've already reached their goal. There's no point in going further,
Yeah.
And then I think some people in the middle of a campaign, if they've already met their goal at, say, halfway through, then they say, wow, we didn't really expect this campaign to be this successful, and so now what we're going to do is promise you that if we now reach the next goal, like say our goal was 20,000, now if we could reach 30,000, we're going to put out another 3-song EP that you get for free or something like that. So to figure out a way to incentivize people to keep contributing more and more money, or tell their friends about it,
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to have to. I didn't want to undershoot my goal, I guess, but and I also didn't want it to just drag on. So I think that's why I did the 30-day
30 days. Yeah.
deal. But yeah.
Okay. So let's wrap it up here because I know you're on the road and you have limited time.
Sure.
So what are your if a singer, songwriter, and artist is watching this, what are some of the biggest takeaways that you give them?
For again, I think it's just be good at what you do first and foremost. I think you have to spend the most. I don't know. There are some people that can try to juggle a bunch of different things when it comes to being when you're an entrepreneur. When you're an independent musician, you have to be an entrepreneur. And you have to think like I own my business, and I have to think of ways to make my business better. But the business hat and the creative hat are two different things sometimes, two different parts of the brain. And at some point you have to remember, like, okay, am I really passionate about the business, or am I really passionate about the creative side of things? And try to find people around you that can help you focus on the one that you actually love the most and feel like you're actually gifted at the most, Because I think you can be smart at figuring out ways to spread the music, but the music will kind of suffer, I guess, if you're always worrying about the business side of things. So as a musician, it's hard to play both sides, And I think you just have to remember, if you're really a musician, then you got to remember to be a musician and remember to be a songwriter and work on your songs. And there's a period in my life before I put out any songs where I was just obsessed with songwriting, and no one knew that I was really writing songs. It was just wanting to be good at songwriting and everything. And so you work and it's sort of like in the lab, and you come up with something that you feel like is really good. And then when you start selling it and getting out on the road and promoting it and doing all this stuff, all of a sudden you don't spend as much time in that like private room that you used to, where you were just figuring out music, and all of a sudden you've kind of forgotten, like, oh yeah, that's everything, that's all I was before this. That's where I was actually getting good at what I do. This is where you grow as a musician. And so I think as you get into the building your business and figuring out ways to market and everything, you got to really like remember and preserve time to actually keep your head back in this place where you're getting better and better at actually doing music, and not just spend all your time on social media and marketing. That's not to say you got to be smart, and you got to keep track of what's happening in the trends and of what's actually effective out there and what people are talking about, and you can't be completely removed. But yeah, you need some help. I had some help. I had some people around me that were helping, film stuff, or helping proofread my updates. Little things like that. You just got to make sure it's people around you are helping you, so that you're just not all trying to. Because something's going to suffer if you put your energy here or energy here. You're just going to kind of.
So focus what you're good at, what you're passionate about, and have other people help you. Surround people that will help you in the area that that they're strong at, and also remember to go back to the craft, to the music. That's where you need to focus.
Yeah, I think you gotta. Your craft is your. I mean, you have to be. Yeah, you just got to remember what the core like reason that you're doing it is. And I've had actually musician friends that have been who were talented at music and were pursuing music, and then they got into marketing themselves, and they realized that they're really, really good at business and marketing, and they basically just said, you know what, I think my actual most joy and my true passion is in marketing stuff, and so even though I'm a musician, I want to start marketing other musicians, and then they almost get out of music and just start marketing full-time, managing artists, and that's fine. And actually, you sometimes discover it through that way, that you actually wanted to be in the business side of it more than you wanted to be in the creative. But it's nice that you know the creative because you're an actual musician. But there are a lot of musicians that are full-time managers and full-time agents and things like that. Yeah, and they just realize that their real gifting is in marketing and stuff, and so.
So focus on what you're passionate about. Got it. Focus.
Yeah.
Cool. That's awesome tip, man. That's awesome.
Cool.
Okay, so what are you doing right now, and what's next for you?
I'm on tour. I'm going to Baton Rouge, Louisiana right now. We have a show there tomorrow night, and we have and then I'm joining up with another artist from Nashville named Katie Herzig, who is another artist that's kind of come up through under the radar and raising a following independently, and we're doing a tour together. We're going to be hitting the Midwest and then going up through Chicago and Minneapolis and Toronto, and then going over to New England, Vermont, New Hampshire, then down through New York and down the East Coast, all through the month of March. So yeah, we're going to be putting some miles on the van.
That's a lot of miles that you just shared.
Yeah,
wow.
we're cruising along at a good pace. So.
And do you have an album that coming up next, or you just released an album?
Well, I just released the album that I raised the money for.
That's the Kickstarter album.
Yeah, the Kickstarter album came out, and it's called Heartbreak Yellow, and it's on iTunes right now. And you can get it on iTunes, or you can go to my website, andydavisonline.com. Yeah, it's out. I went to Los Angeles. I got to go record with this producer out there named Mitchell Froome, who's a really amazing, legendary producer, and hired couple musicians that I really am huge fans of, and did the record and did it the way I wanted to do it, and it's done and it's out. So yeah.
Cool. And Blakely is one of your fans here. So Blakely, do you have any question for Andy? Just one, really fast.
One.
Yeah. Yes.
What is the story behind Heartbreak Yellow?
The song?
Yes.
It's a good question. I think it was sort of an imaginary girl kind of song, who breaks your heart and walks away and doesn't it's sort of oblivious that you're even into her kind of thing, and she happened to be wearing a yellow dress that day.
Okay.
So that's what the song is about.
That's what it's about. Okay, cool. All right, so you're gonna play a song for us?
It's a piano. I usually play that song on the piano. I have to play a song on the guitar.
Okay, cool.
I thought I'd play Capital Letters, which is on here on the record.
Awesome. Can you point your cam a little bit down a little bit so we can also see? Oh, maybe you sit back a little bit. If you sit back. Yeah. Good. Awesome.
I'll chill like this.
Yeah. Cool.
Can you hear okay?
Yeah, we can hear. We can hear okay.
All right, here we go. It was the right step. Everybody could see. It was obvious to everybody but me. I was in the dark. Yeah, I was stuck in my ways, learning my lessons just a little too late. There might have been capital letters in the sky, a trail of smoke, but I didn't see the sign. Yeah, I was always walking blind, but all the time there was something better in capital letters. With a hard head, you just can't be told. Sometimes what you want is just a blindfold. But I believe in my hindsight. it's easy to see. I wanna know that it's good, know that it's good while it's standing right in front of me. There might have been capital letters in the sky, a trail of smoke, but I didn't see the sign. Yeah, I was always walking blind, when all the time there was something better. Yeah, I see it now. Yeah, yeah. There might have been capital letters in the sky, a trail of smoke, but I didn't see the sign. Yeah, I was always walking blind, and all the time there was something better. Oh yeah, all the time there was something better. Ooh, and all the time there was something better. Yeah, capital letters. Yeah, in front of my face.
Woo! Yeah! Woo!
Thank you.
That was so awesome, man. I got goosebumps.
Alright, right on.
Man, that was
Thank you.
sick.
This is fun. Thank you.
That was awesome, man.
Thanks
Thank
for
you so much.
the invite to talk about it.
That was awesome. So thank you so much. And if you want to learn more about how you can use crowdfunding as a platform like Kickstarter to fund your passion, your dreams, make sure you sign up for the free newsletter at kickstarterrockstars.com. And thank you so much, Andy. And let's keep in touch, and best of luck for you, man.
Thanks for coming, Blakely.
Thank you.
All right,
See ya.
thank you. See ya.
Bye.